Stellantis, the massive conglomerate housing 12 auto giants like Ram, Chrysler, and Dodge, recently stirred up controversy with a bombshell dropped by its CEO, Carlos Tavares. In a stark warning at the inaugural Freedom of Mobility Forum, Tavares cast doubt on the electric vehicle revolution, leaving many in the industry perturbed. The crux of Tavares' message is that while gas-powered cars face impending bans, EVs might not be the panacea they're touted to be. Tavares highlighted a looming challenge: the scarcity of resources like lithium, crucial for EV batteries. This scarcity threatens to derail the ambitious plan to replace a staggering 3 billion internal combustion engine vehicles worldwide. Stellantis, cognizant of the shifting automotive landscape, has committed a staggering $35.5 billion investment in plug-in models by 2025. However, Tavares' warning underscores the monumental hurdles ahead. With over 1.3 billion gas-powered cars currently on the roads, the transition to EVs isn't merely daunting. It could be nigh impossible due to resource limitations. Tavares' remarks have ignited a debate on the feasibility and sustainability of the EV agenda. As governments worldwide enforce bans on combustion engines, questions about the availability of resources and the viability of mass EV adoption loom large. Stellantis' stance challenges the prevailing narrative, prompting a re-evaluation of the future of mobility. Stellantis isn't just making big moves in the EV scene. They've even teamed up with Samsung to build their first EV battery factory. But amidst all these ambitious plans lies a troubling assumption that there will be enough raw materials to go around. Elon Musk and Rivian's RJ Scaring have already sounded the alarm about the looming scarcity of essential materials like lithium, nickel, graphite, and cobalt. Sure, technically speaking, the world might have sufficient resources, but getting them out of the ground is no walk in the park. It's a bureaucratic and logistical nightmare, tangled in red tape and geopolitical tensions. Even if we have the lithium, setting up a new mine could take up to a decade. Carlos Tavares isn't pulling any punches either. He warns that the proposed combustion ban by the European Union could have unintended consequences, potentially leading to increased greenhouse gas emissions. Why? Because we might not have enough lithium to responsibly allocate to EV production. Germany seems to be taking heed. They recently voted down the combustion ban, arguing for allowances for future green fuels. If Europe and certain US states go ahead with combustion engine bans, EVs already 40% pricier than their gas counterparts could become even more expensive. Mercedes-Benz CEO echoes these concerns, cautioning that without a robust supply chain, increasing EV production could further drive up costs. So, what's the solution? Tavares suggests mandating that every new vehicle have a range of at least 30 to 50 miles with zero emissions. It could be a more practical and cost-effective approach, especially considering that the majority of trips are under 30 miles. Known for his blunt style, Tavares didn't mince words when he asserted that we're not quite there yet regarding range. To eliminate range anxiety, EVs would need to cover 400 miles on a single charge. But that wasn't the only bombshell he dropped. Tavares disclosed that producing electric vehicles costs a whopping 40% more than making internal combustion cars. What's particularly concerning is his acknowledgement that passing on these costs to consumers would risk losing half of their customer base. Essentially, Tavares is cautioning that the dream of affordable EVs for the average buyer might be just that, a dream. Adding to the complexity, Tavares scrutinized the weight of EVs. Achieving a 400-mile range would add a hefty 1,000 pounds compared to similar gas-powered vehicles, a weight that's simply unsustainable. While acknowledging the regulatory pressure favoring EVs, Tavares proposed an alternative solution. He suggested replacing older vehicles with modern equivalents, potentially featuring mild hybrid technology. This, he argued, could offer a more practical and cost-effective approach, leading to a swift 50% reduction in carbon dioxide emissions on average. Tavares isn't just critiquing EV challenges, he's also vocal about what he sees as the politicization of climate change policies. He cautioned against using these policies as tools for competitive advantage in global trade, especially as countries like the US and China offer hefty subsidies to promote clean technologies and EVs. Tavares is raising a crucial concern. Are we unwittingly triggering a global trade dispute in the guise of fighting climate change? It's not just speculation. It's a warning sign that could signal the downfall of the EV dream. A dream sold to us as the solution to our environmental challenges. The skepticism of Stellantis' CEO is mirrored by the struggles of other automakers like General Motors, Ford, Hyundai, and Rivian. They're all wrestling with the soaring costs of battery materials. Moreover, the new EV tax credit rules mandating battery production in North America or allied countries have thrown a spanner in the works for many automakers. It's as if the industry is standing on shaky ground, propped up by policies that sow division rather than unity and destruction rather than progress. Tavares has been vocal about the risk of pricing the middle class out of the EV market if automakers can't absorb the added production costs. He believes that affordable EVs should ideally be priced around $25,000. But if subsidies are the only way to keep EVs within reach, what happens when those subsidies inevitably diminish? The middle class could find themselves not just priced out of new cars, but potentially shut out of personal mobility altogether. Despite Stellantis having the least aggressive electrification strategy among Detroit's big three, it's still in a precarious position. Even its flagship electric pickup, the Ram 1500 EV, is expected to come with a gasoline range extender, underscoring the company's struggle to fully embrace electrification. While the average cost of EV batteries has plummeted by 80%, the starting prices of EVs remain high. Jeep, a brand synonymous with rugged off-road vehicles, hasn't been immune to these market forces. Despite its push for electrification with models like the Wrangler and Grand Cherokee 4xe plug-in hybrids, Jeep has faced declining sales and a tarnished brand image. In the first quarter of 2023, Jeep sales were down nearly 20%, with Ram truck sales following suit with a 17% decline. Jeep's sales slump can be traced back to the significant hike in vehicle prices. In 2015, a Jeep Wrangler would set you back around $35,000 to $38,000. Fast forward to 2023. And the same model with a manual transmission comes with a hefty $52,000 price tag. This sharp increase isn't just due to inflation or supply chain issues. It's a deliberate move by Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares to position Jeep as a luxury brand. Dealers have been given the green light to slap on massive markups, sometimes reaching thousands of dollars. This move further distances the middle-class consumer base that once found Jeep affordable and attractive. However, the luxury brand positioning seems to be backfiring, particularly as Jeep grapples with quality control issues. Recent recalls over fire risks and safety concerns have taken a toll on the brand's reputation. Moreover, the shift towards luxury and performance features in EVs only adds to their already high costs. Take the electric Ford F-150 Lightning, for instance, starting at around $56,000. Considerably more than its gas-powered counterpart. This pricing trend isn't exclusive to newcomers like Tesla or Rivian. Even mainstream automakers are slapping premium price tags on their EV models, making it tough for middle-class consumers to make the switch. It's about time brands understand what consumers truly want and stop pricing their cars sky high while loading them with impractical features that few actually use. As we grapple with these revelations, several daunting questions loom large. If EV production costs are indeed 40% higher than internal combustion vehicles, and if these costs can't be passed on to consumers without losing half of the customer base, what does the future hold for electric vehicles? Are we facing a mobility crisis where the middle class is priced out of personal transport? And most concerning, are we headed toward a future where well-intentioned policies to save the planet end up causing more harm than good? The clock is ticking, and the answers to these questions could shape our collective future. Which side are you on in this electric versus ICE battle? Let us know in the comments below. Some electric car owners are feeling fed up and are clamoring for the return of traditional gasoline-powered vehicles. While electric cars were once hailed as the future of transportation, a shift in sentiment among EV owners suggests a potential roadblock in the anticipated revolution. Despite a promising surge in electric vehicle sales during 2022 and the first part of 2023, enthusiasm among buyers seems to have tapered off, jeopardizing plans for a swift transition away from gas cars. The subdued interest in EVs prompts questions about the sustainability of the electric vehicle movement, which had initially gained considerable traction. This change in consumer attitude could undermine the previously envisioned rapid transition away from traditional gas-powered vehicles. So, what's causing this change of heart among EV owners? Let's delve into the reasons behind why some are now longing for gas-powered cars. Despite the growth of the electric vehicle market in 2023, sales haven't met the lofty expectations set early on. Despite efforts such as introducing new models, slashing prices, and offering significant tax incentives to make electric cars more affordable, the pace of EV sales hasn't picked up as anticipated. Many EV owners are feeling weary, especially after the disappointment of the Tesla Cybertruck failing to meet expectations, leading some to yearn for gas-guzzling vehicles once again. Even automakers, caught off guard by this shift in consumer sentiment, are now reassessing their strategies in response. Lately, key players in the electric vehicle industry have been making strategic maneuvers. Tesla, a major player in the EV market, has once again cut its prices. Ford, recognizing market realities, reduced production of its F-150 Lightning electric pickup truck and postponed $12 billion in planned EV investments. Mercedes-Benz's CFO, Harald Wilhelm, described the EV market as tough, prompting the company to offer discounts on vehicles. General Motors, having faced setbacks, pushed back the launch of 3 models and backed away from its public commitment to produce 400,000 EVs by the end of 2024. Honda, in light of changing circumstances, announced it was halting joint plans with GM to develop affordable EVs. These strategic shifts by major automakers highlight the complexities and challenges within the evolving EV market. At Toyota, where the focus has predominantly been on hybrids rather than fully electric vehicles, Chairman Akio Toyoda frankly told reporters that people are finally seeing reality. Even some EV owners now express a desire for gas-powered cars. But what's behind this trend? Let's dig into the burning issue. Numerous studies have indicated that EVs don't pose a greater fire risk than traditional gasoline-powered cars. However, the real challenge lies in effectively tackling an EV fire, as conventional firefighting methods often prove inadequate. While it's clear that the overall risk of EV fires isn't higher, the crux of the matter lies in the difficulty of extinguishing such fires. Traditional firefighting techniques, which typically work well with conventional vehicles, fall short when dealing with EVs. Unlike combustion engine cars, where depriving the fire of oxygen is a primary firefighting strategy, EVs have built-in oxygen sources within their batteries, making this approach ineffective. The challenge of EV fires is compounded by a phenomenon called thermal runaway. Once one cell ignites, the fire can quickly escalate, and conventional firefighting methods struggle to contain it. Extinguishing an EV fire often requires the extreme measure of submerging the vehicle in water. Even then, success isn't guaranteed immediately, and fire departments may need to take post-fire precautions, such as isolating the EV for several days. The difficulties associated with electric vehicle fires have led some EV owners to consider returning to traditional gasoline vehicles. Despite EVs being generally safe and ongoing efforts to improve firefighting techniques, concerns about fire incidents, especially those causing significant property damage, have shaken the confidence of certain EV owners. Now let's talk about the environmental impact misconception. The claim of zero emissions, often highlighted as a major advantage of electric vehicles, is being scrutinized as we examine the broader environmental impact of these vehicles. While it's true that EVs don't emit tailpipe emissions during operation, a comprehensive analysis must consider other factors affecting their environmental footprint. Unless an electric vehicle is charged directly from a solar, wind, or hydro-powered source, its environmental impact is linked to the energy mix of the electricity grid. In many areas, including significant parts of the United States, electricity generation heavily relies on sources like natural gas, nuclear, and coal. This means the environmental benefits of an EV are compromised if the electricity used to charge it comes from less sustainable sources. Moreover, studies have raised concerns about the overall greenhouse gas emissions associated with manufacturing electric vehicles. Although manufacturers are increasingly integrating renewable energy into their production processes, several studies suggest that producing an EV may emit more greenhouse gases than making an equivalent internal combustion engine car. The fundamental material materials of EV batteries, like lithium, nickel, cobalt, and various other metals, are obtained through mining, a practice known for its environmental and ethical dilemmas. This connection to mining activities is crucial for EV production and extends to the infrastructure supporting them, such as charging stations. Cobalt especially raises concerns due to its links with ethical issues. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is a major cobalt source, with distressing reports of child labor prevalent in the mining sector. This raises ethical questions about the sustainability and morality of relying on such resources for vital electric vehicle components. While the zero tailpipe emissions claim has been a significant selling point, realizing that the overall environmental impact goes beyond just vehicle operation has left some owners disenchanted. Next, we'll discuss electricity taxes. Recently, there's been a growing sentiment among electric vehicle owners, indicating a recognition that the EV experience isn't without its challenges, from steep charging fees to increasingly congested charging stations. While EVs were initially praised as a cleaner and more efficient option, the realities of ownership are proving more intricate than anticipated. One major frustration revolves around the high charging fees, particularly from certain companies like Tesla, which now impose a per-minute charging fee once the vehicle surpasses 80% battery capacity at busy charging stations. This pricing strategy has sparked discontent among EV owners who now face unexpectedly high costs, adding an unforeseen financial burden to their ownership experience. Compounding this issue is the perpetual congestion at charging stations. EV drivers often find themselves facing packed charging stations, resulting in situations where some individuals are forced to wait for an available spot for extended periods. Reports have even surfaced of EV owners sleeping in their cars while waiting for a charger to free up, ensuring they have enough juice for the next day. The irony of encountering such challenges at charging stations, which are meant to offer convenient and efficient recharging, highlights the current obstacles in the electric vehicle landscape. While the growing popularity of EVs signals a positive shift towards sustainable transportation, it has inadvertently strained charging infrastructure, causing inconvenience and frustration for owners. Without adequate expansion of infrastructure and improved charging protocols, the increasing adoption of EVs could worsen these challenges. In response, some EV owners are expressing a desire to return to traditional gas-powered vehicles, shifting our focus to price and expenses. The appeal of electric vehicles has been dampened by the realization that ownership comes with its own financial challenges. One major concern revolves around insurance costs, where EV owners often face higher premiums compared to owners of traditional gasoline-powered vehicles. This trend is partly attributed to the expensive components of EVs, like advanced battery systems, which can lead to higher repair and replacement costs. High maintenance expenses further add to the financial strain of EV ownership. Despite the common belief that EVs require less maintenance due to fewer moving parts, when maintenance is necessary, the costs can be significantly higher. Battery replacement, in particular, stands out as a major contributor to these elevated maintenance costs. The cost of replacing a worn-out or failing battery pack can be a substantial financial setback for EV owners. Depreciation is another financial aspect of EV ownership to consider. Despite their initially high purchase prices, EVs often depreciate rapidly, sometimes even more than traditional vehicles. This depreciation factor adds to the total cost of ownership and may concern those thinking about the resale value of their EVs. These financial challenges have led some EV owners to rethink their decision to own electric vehicles, with an increasing number opting for traditional gasoline cars. Factors such as lower insurance premiums, potentially reduced maintenance costs, and more predictable depreciation rates contribute to this shift in preference. What are your thoughts on the current state of electric vehicles? Have you encountered any of the challenges discussed, or do you have a different perspective on EV ownership? Share your insights in the comments below.